My ex-best friend once told me, "You'll always be the backup. The one people settle for. Just accept it." She cut me off right before graduation and took credit for our joint project. This morning, I was named head of a major agency. Minutes later, she walked in for an interview. I didn't say a word until she saw my name on the door and whispered, "I never thought this day would come. I never thought I'd see her again, let alone like this." It's been years, but when she walked into my office today, it was like no time had passed. I could feel the old anger bubbling up inside me, but I kept my face calm. She didn't know. Not yet. Let me tell you how we got here. We met back in college at the University of Chicago. I was studying marketing, she was in communications. It was like we just clicked from day one. We were the kind of friends who did everything together. Study sessions late at night, coffee runs before class, planning big dreams about working in the top ad agencies. We thought we were unstoppable. At least I did. By our last year, we decided to team up for the capstone project. It was a big deal. This final campaign would decide our grades, our futures. We worked on it for months. I'm talking endless nights, full weekends locked in the library, sharing snacks and swapping ideas. We came up with this killer marketing campaign for a fake brand. Everything from the logo to the ad copy to the social media strategy. We poured everything into it. But then, something shifted. A few weeks before graduation, she started acting weird. Distant. Like she had somewhere better to be. She stopped texting as much, skipped our meetings, and whenever I asked what was going on, she just brushed me off. I tried to let it go. I figured maybe she was stressed. I was wrong. It was the night before our final presentation when she dropped it on me. We were supposed to meet to go over our slides one last time, but instead, she just looked at me, like I was nothing, and said, "You'll always be the backup. The one people settle for. Just accept it." I didn't know what to say. I just stared at her. My so-called best friend. She walked out, and I didn't hear from her again. The next day, I showed up to the presentation, and there she was, already at the front of the room. She was standing tall, confident, like she owned the place. And she was presenting our project. I couldn't believe it. She took all the credit. Every slide, every idea, every word we had brainstormed together, she passed it off as her own. I was stunned. I felt sick. My throat was tight, my hands were shaking. I wanted to say something, but I froze. I just sat there, watching her take what we built and make it hers. Everyone clapped for her. The professors praised her. And I sat there like a ghost, invisible. She never even looked at me. Not once. After that, she cut me off completely. Blocked me on everything. It was like I never existed. I'll be honest, after that, I felt lost. Graduation came and went, and I was left scrambling for a job. I sent out resumes, went to interviews, but nothing seemed to stick. I felt like maybe she was right. Maybe I was the backup. The one people settle for. It haunted me. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. I took the first job I could get at a tiny agency in Chicago. The pay was crap, and the hours were brutal, but I kept my head down and worked. I worked harder than anyone else. I didn't complain, I didn't quit. I took on every project they threw at me, even the ones no one else wanted. And slowly, things started to change. I built a name for myself, someone who could get the job done, someone who delivered results. Clients started asking for me by name. I kept moving up. Better jobs, bigger agencies, more responsibility. I learned how to lead a team, how to negotiate contracts, how to handle clients. I didn't just survive, I started to thrive. My work spoke for itself, and people noticed. Fast forward to last month, I was offered the position of head of creative at one of the top agencies in New York. It was everything I had worked for. I packed up my life and moved, ready for this new chapter. The office was big, the title was impressive, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had made it. Then today happened. It was my first official day. I had a list of interviews scheduled for a junior creative position. I glanced through the resumes, half paying attention, until I saw her name. My heart stopped. I stared at the page like it was a bad joke. But it wasn't. It was her. She walked in 10 minutes later, holding her portfolio and wearing that fake smile I knew so well. She looked around the room, not recognizing me at first. She started her little introduction speech, pitching herself, probably rehearsed 100 times. Then she saw the nameplate on my desk. Her face went pale. Her mouth opened just a little, like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. I didn't say a word either. I just sat there, looking at her. Letting her see it. Letting her feel it. She had no idea what was coming next. She froze when she saw my name on the door. I could see her eyes darting across the office, from the nameplate to the framed awards, to the big windows looking out over the city. For a second, I thought she might turn around and leave. But she didn't. She stood there, clutching her portfolio like it was a life raft, her face pale but trying hard to keep it together. I stayed silent. I wanted her to sweat. Finally, she sat down across from me. Her hands were shaking a little as she opened her portfolio. I watched her struggle to smile, trying to act like this was a normal interview. "It's been a while," she said, her voice tight, like she was forcing the words out. I didn't say anything. Just sat there, arms crossed, watching her. She cleared her throat and started talking about her experience, her skills, the projects she'd worked on, like I didn't know. I could tell she was skipping over the last few years, probably hoping I wouldn't ask. But I knew. I knew she'd bounced from one agency to another, never staying long. I knew she'd been let go from her last job for missing deadlines and cutting corners. I knew she hadn't come close to the kind of success she had stolen from me. I let her talk. She was rambling now, getting more desperate with every word, throwing out buzzwords, trying to impress me. Then I hit her with it. "Tell me about the capstone project," I said. Her face froze. Her mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. She looked at me, her eyes wide, and for the first time I saw the cracks. She stammered, I'm not sure what you mean." I leaned back in my chair, keeping my voice calm. "The marketing campaign. The one you presented at the University of Chicago." She looked down at her hands. I could see her knuckles turning white from how hard she was gripping the portfolio. It was a team effort," she said quietly. I almost laughed. "A team effort?" She nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes." I leaned forward, my tone sharper. "Whose name was on that final presentation, huh? Who stood in front of the class while I sat in the back, invisible? Who took all the credit for that work?" Her face turned red. She opened her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. "I know what you did. I know exactly what you did." She looked like she wanted to cry, but I didn't feel sorry for her. Not one bit. Then, as if the universe wasn't done throwing gasoline on the fire, my assistant buzzed in. "Your 2 o'clock is here. It's the CEO from Hale and Parker. They're waiting for you in the conference room." I smiled, slow and cold, locking eyes with her. "You'll have to excuse me. I have important business to handle." I stood up and walked past her, leaving her sitting there in my office, alone, small, exposed. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. I could feel her staring at my back as I left the room, but I didn't look back. Not yet. I wanted her to sit in that chair, feeling every ounce of regret for what she did. I walked into the conference room, shook hands with the CEO from Hale and Parker, and handled the meeting like a pro. All the while, my mind was racing. I kept thinking about her sitting in my office, probably flipping through her portfolio, maybe even crying. I wasn't sure how I wanted to play it. I could have just sent her on her way, no job, no apology, no nothing. But something in me knew that wouldn't be enough. She needed to feel what I felt all those years ago. She needed to know what it was like to be crushed, to have everything ripped away, to be left standing there with nothing. When I got back to my office, she was still there. She looked up when I walked in, her face pale, eyes red. Her voice was small. "Please," she said. "I didn't know you'd be here." "I didn't mean," I held up my hand to stop her. "You didn't mean what? To steal my work? To cut me out? To make me feel like I was nothing?" She swallowed hard. "I was young, I made a mistake. I was scared." I shook my head, not buying it. "No. You weren't scared. You were selfish. You thought you were better than me." She started crying then, silent tears running down her face. And maybe a part of me should have felt bad. But I didn't. "Here's the thing," I said, keeping my voice calm. "I'm in charge now. And you're just another applicant." Her lip trembled. "Please. I need this job. I've been struggling. I got laid off. I've been trying to get back on my feet." I let her sit in that silence, watching her break down. Then I spoke. "You'll get the job. But it's not what you think." She looked up, hope flashing across her face, like maybe I was giving her a second chance. "I'm hiring you as an intern. Unpaid. You'll answer phones, fetch coffee, make copies. Every day, you'll walk past my name on that door. Every day, you'll remember what you did. And maybe, just maybe, you'll learn what it feels like to be the backup." Her face crumpled. She looked like I had just hit her. "You have a choice," I said. "Take it, or leave. But if you stay, you do what I say, when I say it. No questions. No excuses." She sat there for a long time, silent tears running down her face. Then, finally, she nodded. "Okay," she whispered. I leaned back in my chair, watching her. "Good. You start tomorrow." She stood up slowly, holding her portfolio like it was a piece of trash. As she walked out of my office, I watched her go, a small, broken figure walking down the hall. I thought I'd feel satisfied. And for a while, I did. I watched her struggle every day, doing the grunt work while I led meetings, signed deals, and got all the praise. It felt good, at first. But here's the thing. As the weeks went on, something shifted. I caught myself looking at her, wondering if I had gone too far. Watching her stay late, running out for coffee, getting snapped at by clients. I saw the weight of it all on her face, and I started to feel it, a small, gnawing guilt. It wasn't like me. I had worked so hard to get where I was, and I deserved to feel proud. But deep down, I knew I was doing to her what she did to me. And that made me no better than her. One night, I stayed late. She was still there, cleaning up the conference room, eyes hollow. I watched her for a long time before I spoke. "I think we're done here." She turned to me, confused. "You don't need to come back." Her face twisted, half relief, half dread. "What do you mean?" I sighed. "I mean, we're even. I think you've learned your lesson. And I've learned mine. I don't need to drag this out anymore." She stood there, stunned, like she didn't know what to do with herself. "Good luck," I said simply, and I meant it. She left the next morning. No goodbye, no thanks. Just gone. I sat in my office that day, looking out over the city, and I felt tired. Not satisfied. Not angry. Just tired. That's the thing about revenge. It feels good for a while. But in the end, it doesn't change what happened. It doesn't fix the past. It just drags you down with it. So yeah, I got my revenge. I got to see her break. But in the end, it left me wondering if it was worth it. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. All I know is, I'm not the backup anymore. And I never will be again.